Alright guys, so this is going to be a really crappy video because I'm shooting it with my phone camera, but for those of you that have a 2008 to 2014 Dodge Grand Caravan or Chrysler Town & Country or whatever the Volkswagen equivalent of it is that has this wind module here that has the fob key that goes into the dash, there is a very, very common recurring problem with sticky keys. Either it gets stuck in off, or it will get stuck in like run and won't turn all the way back to off, so you can't get the key out. It's a very, very common problem. There was a recall to address it, but all that recall was the dealer replaced these wind modules, and then in another 100 to 150,000 miles, you end up right back where you started. So, again, bear with me because this is all on my camera. There's going to be no editing. This is like start to stop, all in one go. So if I mess up, sorry about it. But I'm going to guide you through disassembly of the wind module as best I can so that you can kind of get an idea of what you need to do to take care of your sticky key. So in order to get the wind module out, of course, you got to tear the dash all the way apart. You got to pull your sail panel down in front underneath the windshield out, and then you got to get all your bolts out, take your driver's side kick panel out, you got to take your driver's side dash panel out. But in order to do that, you have to take the center console trim out, and that'll give you access to all the bolts to take that driver's dash panel out. So basically, I of course accidentally broke mine there. There's supposed to be a little plastic piece. It's right over there. It's just gonna have to be what it is. So these are actually really easy. Now that I've taken them apart, it's really easy to get them out. So there's a tab here, right over there, and then there's a tab right here, and those just fit into a slot inside there. All you got to do is get in on the inside and slide the tabs up so that you can get the back panel to come off. So I'm going to put the phone down real quick and take care of that, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so with the panel off, it's going to look like this. You have two right here and right there, two T15 Torx bolts, or T10, excuse me, T10 Torx bolts or screws holding that one of the two circuit boards inside of there. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these out, and then I'll guide you through the rest of the circuit board removal process, and we'll get down to the actual tumbler so you can see what's going on. Okay, so with those two Torx screws out there and there, our circuit board is mostly free, but you see these, and this is not going to focus worth a damn. You see these 6 little pins right here. So there's another circuit board that fits inside there. You can see the circuit board, you see the pins right there. So we need to get in between those two circuit boards and gently pry them apart. A little flat blade screwdriver like this snap-on one right here works really well. I'm going to pry those apart, and then we'll get back to it. Okay, so there you go. So this is the circuit board right here. There you see your, well, it's kind of hard to see because it's all not focusing, but there you see your holes right there, your 6 holes, and then your 6 pins are right here on this other circuit board. Now this circuit board right here has your 3 micro switches for your accessory run and crank. So that's your That's very important to get installed correctly when you put it back together. I was able to just leave mine alone because what you really need to focus on is this guy over here, which is your interlock solenoid. So I'm going to pull that guy out, and I'll show you what we need to remove here. I'm going to set that back in here, though, so we don't forget about it. Okay, so this comes out, this interlock solenoid, and again, sorry, I'm going to put the phone down for a sec. Okay, so there is the interlock solenoid. This is a magnetic solenoid, so down inside of here, if I hadn't already removed mine, you would have this little metal guy right here with this little piece of plastic on the end of it. This is your interlock, and what happens is this solenoid fails, and it no longer pulls up on your interlock like it's supposed to, so it gets energized by the circuit board here, it should, if it's working properly, it gets energized, and it will pull this metal plunger up inside of the solenoid. Let's see if I can show you here how that would go. So here's the solenoid, right? So it would pull that up, and when it does that, that releases the interlock. Now, obviously, this one is not energized, so it's not going to do anything. So what you can do in a pinch, if you're like this customer and you don't want to spend any money on the van, especially because this particular van has over 250,000 miles on it, so we're basically just trying to keep it going until something else catastrophically fails. You take the plunger out of here for the interlock, pitch it. This solenoid is going to have to go back in because otherwise the computer is going to throw a fault for an internal problem with the wind module, even though there's nothing actually wrong with the wind module. It's just that it's not seeing the specified resistance out of this little solenoid. So this has to go back in. And it sits in just like that. Really only goes on one way, and then you just got to make sure that your holes, and this is the correct way, make sure that your holes there, and you won't be able to see it, match up with the holes in behind, because your screws are going to have to go back in there. That's where your screws go. That's these little silver things right here are your contacts for that solenoid. So basically, that's it. Put it all back together and stick it back in the car, and your key will no longer be stuck. So yeah, I mean, that's all there is to it. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'll try and answer any of them that I get. Otherwise, good luck.